many of you were here on June 19th. When there was 3 resolutions that were presented to the RMAC board. The attorney for the RMAC board is a person named John D. Gibson. You remember he was here. And he has filed a lawsuit on behalf of Steve Perez, where he has claimed that the resolutions were presented to the Rosamond Community Services District Board, and he is not filing a lawsuit on behalf of the Rosamond Community Services District, who I hope he represents, but instead on behalf of Steve Perez. And it appears that the Rosamond Community Service District has allocated money illegally to stop the voice of the community. This appears not only to be illegal, but it is an outrage that Steve Perez would use taxpayers' money to stop the free speech of the community. There is, my understanding is, there's no way he could act with that attorney that represents Community Service District unless he's got the apparent approval of the majority of the board of the Rosamond Community Service District. He has filed a spite lawsuit against community leaders that have spoken out about the mismanagement of the district by Steve Perez and the majority of the board. It appears they have violated the Brown Act and secretly allocated taxpayers' money to stop the voice of the community. I would like to talk to you more further at the end of this meeting. I do have my statement for immediate release, and I will be happy to show you both the complaint, where it's clearly John Gibson representing Mr. Perez as an individual. And there's been a anti-SLAPP motion filed by Robert Sheary on behalf of me because I'm one of the persons being sued. I'm in good company, by the way, of the people who are named in the lawsuit, much more responsible people with history than me. Jerry Winfrey, for example, got the retirement apartments in, the 77 units over on Sierra Highway and Rosamond Boulevard. He's named. Joe Maynard, who was started the feline compound 37 years ago and continues to manage that at 75 years old. He's named. The front person named on that is the Rosamond Community Service District Watchdog, apparently a blog that they're interested in, that Mr. Perez doesn't like commenting on the district. And then Bob the Builder, Vince Alette, a former Southern Kern Unified School District trustee, and last, I'm named. If you can take 3 things away from what I have to say here tonight, number 1, it is a spite lawsuit. If you look at the lawsuit, and I'd be happy to, again, show you, I've got the big frames that fill up, but it's clear that his complaint states, paragraph 18A, that the wife of Steve Perez heard defendants manning the tables taking signatures for the recall of state attention signatories that, quote, Steve Perez was charging $10,000 per month on his Rosamond Community Services District credit card. Now, those of you who may not know Steve Perez, he is a public figure. In 2002, he ran for Kern County Sheriff. That's all of Kern County, lost by just a few hundred votes. He then ran just 4 years ago for Kern County Supervisor and was defeated by just a couple hundred votes by Zach Scribner. And the other thing is, he did spend $9,847 on that credit card statement. So the story behind that, as I understand it, I wasn't there, was that people were mentioning the credit card, and his wife approached the signer's table, who was apparently manned by Mr. Maynard, and also present was Mr. Winfrey, and said, lies, that's all lies. And they asked Mr. Winfrey, pressed her to tell the people who were there to sign up, well, who are you? Tell the people who you are. And she was reluctant at first, and said, gave her maiden name, and then later admitted that she was Becky Perez, the wife of Steve Perez. So when I say spite, that's in the lawsuit. The other thing that you're free to look at later on, we do have copies for everyone if you're interested. is the credit card statements themselves. It's a matter of public record. It's there. It is $9,780. That's a new balance. $9,879 in purchases in 1 month. I don't know why we would be saying it's not there, but that's the other thing. And the thing that concerns our board, and the last thing I want you to take away from this, is that this case illustrates why we have an anti-SLAPP statute. You all know that he was here. And yet, in his lawsuit, he continually states that the resolutions that we have, number 18, 19, and 20, were presented to the Rosamond Community Services District Court, which is a misstatement. Why he made the misstatement, I don't know. Maybe he's got mental lapses. At any rate, he's in charge of the Rosamond Community Service District, and he made those statements in the lawsuit. You're free to look at the lawsuit. Because at no time were any resolutions presented to the Rosamond Community Service District Court. The other thing is, he brought this lawsuit knowing that the resolutions were presented to this board. And resolutions presented to this board, and it's important for us to know this, are absolutely privileged. We're here to be able to talk about public safety. We're here to talk about the street lights going up. And if we can't do that without being sued, that's not a good thing for our community, and I think everybody in this room understands that that's not right. And just for you, if you remember, I went and looked at the bylaws, understanding municipal advisory councils. Our role is to devise the accounting. And we can engage as community issues. The MAC will hold meetings open to the public, that's what we do, survey community opinion, and speak for the community to the Board of Supervisors. And the county may use the group as a planning advisory council, but that's what we're supposed to do when we have more things going on in the community, which we don't have a whole lot of. Draft or advise the community's portion of the county general plan or other planning matters. As you heard, the lighting is definitely a planning matter. We also talked about the fact that John Joyce was being pursued by Mr. Gibson, and he's also been named in a lawsuit. And of course, the last issue, of course, what's going on with this, what we brought up was about the sewer bills being placed on the property taxes. We never really got into discussion on that, but that was something that's certainly within our purview to talk about. And it's absolutely privileged. So if you feel like there's a lawsuit being brought and that you can't talk about public issues, be advised, look at Civil Code Section 47A and B. It flat out says, as a government entity, that's our job. And if someone wants to bring a lawsuit, then they're subject to an anti-SLAPP motion, and we filed one. Mr. Sherry has forced me to hire Mr. Sherry, and the members of the press have a copy of that. We have a copy of the anti-SLAPP motion, a copy of the press release. And a copy of the complaint. Those are concerns we have. That's what concerns I have.